Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yahanna presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026 in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahanna. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
It's in the first high. He says nothing like that. He said it's, it's better than sex. He says so much better than sex. He said man, listen, they say that shit better than sex. I believe him. I believe them. Because if I don't believe them, I'll go try it. You get it better than sex, man? I'll go try the motherfucker. I believe them. They say it's better. Yes, it is. It got to be. Go ahead, Shabbat.
Like my mate, I once knew this dude. And he's the sales.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy came up with one of his usual customers, and he was like, he sold to him or whatever. And afterwards, the dude kept standing there, and he was like, "What are you standing for?" Because the dude was smoking a cigarette at the time. He was like, "I want to know if I could get your ashes." He's like, "Get your ashes?" He said, "Yeah." What you gonna put them in? He said, "You could just put them in my hand." And he stood there the entire time while the brother was smoking a cigarette and ashing in his hand, right? So, like, later on, the brother asked him, "So what you gonna do with that?" He said, "It makes the his hit smoother," right? And like then a couple days later, the same dude was
collecting the ashes.
The one who
had the cigarette, right? Go ahead.
Had sold to him, and the dude was getting pressed out by the police. Him and another guy,
right?
And that same guy that was collecting the ashes that bought the drugs from him came out and said, "Leave them alone. They not doing nothing." So the police asked the dude, "Well, who are you?" And he pulled all his credentials, and he said, "I'm a rocket scientist for NASA."
God damn. See, it's crazy because if we could find a video with that brother, I mean, it's rough. It's a rough situation for most people. You know what I mean? Let's move on. Let's get the brothers' questions real quick. I will go into, this whole thing with grabbing power from the Lord and getting it because the Lord given it. He has the power he's the power. And brother, it's there for you to get if you want it. That's all I can tell you. Any brother or sister that wants power and tired of the life you're living and really want to take hold of things and do something in life, you seek the Lord. You seek after the Lord. You come to class, you listen, you find Commander General Yahanna, you get up in the Israelite school at UPK, brother, and you get equipped with the things to give you power or give you access to the power. And having access, being tapped into the power, this is a different life you're living. You damn near could see shit before it happened. You damn near could look at something and be like, yeah, that shit's gonna happen. Let's go this way. Because you are tapped in with the power. All right. Where we at? Where we going first? We going Psalms or Melchizedek? Melchizedek might be the easy. We have another caller? Okay, no sweat. You found the video? All right, then Bukwash gonna play the video. Check this out. And tell me we are not seeking death. Tell me we are not, trying to die and have the shit go away. And yeah, that's him. No sweat. You might have to hit the volume. Let me know if you're hearing too, all right? I know sometimes the audio give trouble. No, put it up with everybody else up there. And make the screen big.
No, don't conclude that.
Yeah,
I
that's
probably
one
now,
hours.
on the average, spend.
Go back to the
$100.
thing. Go back to the StreamYard. Hit. You know what I'm talking about? No, yeah, that one. All right, go ahead and play it.
Am I to conclude that you're finished with it?
No, don't conclude that. I probably now, on the average, spend $100 a day.
It's about 2
Hold on,
o'clock
put it back.
now.
The brother asked him, the
Have
brother
you
said,
had
am
any-
I to conclude that you're finished with it? He said, no, don't conclude that in the finest English. He said, how dare thou conclude such a preposterous thing? Don't conclude that shit. And this looked like it's probably early 80s. Early 80s or something like that, right? I ain't too sure. It doesn't say it in the description. But $100 a day then, I would imagine, is an immense fortune then. All right?
Probably now, on the average, spend $100 a day.
It's about 2 o'clock now. Have you had any today?
Not yet. But
Yet.
Not yet. But you can believe when I leave here, it's probably my next stop.
Hey, you're a well-educated man. You have some experience in engineering.
Yes.
You have earning power, obviously.
Right.
Why would you be fooling with this stuff? You can stand by and see what's happening to your own life, can't you?
I used to say the same thing. I used to witness people, and even people who were close to me, have their lives destroyed by it. And I used to witness people sit in these places and spend their last penny. And I say to them, how could you do such a thing, you know? But once you have tried it, you become the anchor banker. You understand. It's that much of a feeling or a sensation that it has wrecked lives, careers, broken up homes. It's just something you can't really describe.
What kind of shape is your life in now?
Well, I've been a little bit more fortunate than most that I have a roof over my head. Some people who are into crack usually pay their rent months in advance so they don't get evicted, the smart ones. Because believe me, brother, if whatever money you have in your pocket, you walk in there with, you're not going to walk out with it. So
how much do you have on you now?
A little over $200.
And you're going to blow all of that?
In about an hour and a half.
What's the most you've used in a day?
The most I ever spent was $1,300 in 6 hours.
$1,300.
$1,300 in 6 hours.
Brother, $1,300 in 6 hours. You ain't making that money, unless you're selling it to him. If you the pusher, that's the only way you making that shit. $1,300 in 6 hours. That's $200 and something an hour. And he can throw that away because, like, you could lose that in a strip club. You could lose that to some whores. You get the point? That's why he'll tell you it's better than sex. Go ahead.
I can't even describe it. I defy anyone to try and tell me it's the most pleasurable thing that they've ever experienced in their life. However, I would never tell anyone to take it. But once they have, I dare them to tell me that it's not the best feeling they've ever had.
You love it, don't you?
Well, I don't know if I'd say I'd love it, but...
well, if it's the best feeling you've ever had, you know what most people automatically think.
Right.
And it's better than that?
Yes.
That's what it's
Much love.
The interviewer, he didn't even want to say it. He says, most people usually think it's better than that. He ain't hesitate. He ain't think about it a second time. He ain't even be like, well, 6'7". He ain't even like, he ain't trying to figure this shit out. He said yes. You're adamantly. Go ahead, Bukwaj.
I'm reading the Reddit and it said in 81, this is in the 80s, early
81.
80s.
That's why I say it looked like early 80s. Go ahead.
They said he spent $50,000 in 9 months is going to get to it, but that equivalent to today is $173,000 today.
Brother, listen up. I remember Commander, and in fact, I ain't gonna say it, but let's say you drug dealers, you're a problem in the neighborhood. And you the reason why we don't have the resources we need and the manpower. And a day is coming shortly when you ain't gonna be able to destroy the neighborhood no more.
Right.
100 and how much?
$173,538.50.
Brother, we'll have Passover on the moon with that type of budget. Everybody gonna have to go to the launching dock. Everybody gotta go to SpaceX, catch a SpaceX to the 5th crater on the dark side of the moon for Passover with that budget. Go ahead.
I mean, just looking at them, that's we used to call that the butter face right there. Like when your mouth is real tight, you get like like you
listen, I'm gonna check out the class, man, in DC. Y'all go ahead and clap it up. Oh man, it's a heavy class there that Captain Mashak is teaching in DC. I know we got classes going on all over the nation, classes going on all over the world. I.S.U.P.K. worldwide, commanding General Yahanna's internet. And that's what we're here to take over. We're here to take over commanding General Yahanna's internet. Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Eshratham, to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alathun, Bashim Yahweh, to all the sisters. I'm Priest and Officer 5000 Malak. I'm here in I.S.U.P.K, Kansas City. We are the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General Yahanna. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are all under commanding General Yahanna, and we are not affiliated with any other organization or religious group or anything. If it's not I.S.U.P.K, then it is not the home of the truth. It is not the truth. The truth is not in you, and you should come home to the I.S.U.P.K so you can learn how to avoid the situations that you are going to get into tonight. And we're going to get into those situations and how to avoid them tonight. Tonight's topic is, of course, your oppressor's new year. Our oppressor's new year is the beginning of your end. If you go out tonight and celebrate your oppressor's new year, then you are going to end your life tonight. Now, just remember I said that. All right. I also have here in the back of me, pay your Passover fee. All right. We got General Muhammad back there telling you, you better pay that Passover fee. Start paying that Passover fee, $200 a person, 17 years or older. Pay that Passover fee, man. Get those Passover fees paid. Get your itinerary booked. Make sure you know the hotel. Make sure you know where we're staying. It's going to be held at the B&H Ranch, April 4th, 2026. That's in 4 more months. So if you have not already begun your itinerary, booking your rooms, paying your Passover fee, then you are behind. I would begin tonight. Instead of spending that money on liquor and booze and weed and whores for New Year's Day, you better send that money to Commander General Yahanna tonight. Everyone understand? With that being said, Most High in Christ. Shalom, Israel. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. All right. Today we have some good scriptures to break down, and also we have great topics to bring out because, of course, in about 9:15 on the Eastern Standard Time, it's 9:15. I'm sorry, 8:15. So in roughly 2.5 hours, you're gonna hear gunshots. You're gonna hear everybody saying Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Tonight we're gonna go over the origins of why you celebrate your New Year, your oppressor's New Year, on January 1st. And we're going to talk about how you're still a slave, right? You're still a slave. This so-called New Year that you're celebrating is only because you're a slave, because no one else celebrates the New Year in the dead of winter. And we're going to go over that tonight. Also, breaking down the crime. We're going to go over the crime of what you're going to experience tonight if you decide to go out and celebrate your oppressor's New Year. In the I.S.U.P.K, we all stay home. We're staying home tonight and tomorrow night. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shema Alatha, Bashim Yahweh Shah, the sister Shalom Nar. How you doing, sis? All right. Yeah, we all stay home in the UPK. We won't be hurt. We won't be harmed because the Lord is with us. And we listen to the man that God sent, the man that God elected to lead our people. We're going to listen to him tonight. And we're going to listen to him every day, so that our children won't die the way yours will tonight, so that our mothers, fathers, our brothers and sisters won't perish the way yours are going to tonight. Everyone understand? Uh-oh, who we got here? Who we got here? My main man, Officer 500, Gabar. Give him
Hey, shalom, shalom.
Hey, shalom. What's going on, Kakum? How you feeling, Doc?
I'm Tawab. Ready to get it cracking up in here. You know, Wednesday night law class.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Officer Malak. You know.
Oh, most I'm right. Water. The The water priest. I appreciate that. Shout out to you, brother. It's good to see you. Your rib is good to be seen. You understand? I'm glad that every Wednesday, this brother, every week, shit, not just every Wednesday, this brother is on it up there in Iowa. If you're looking for someone to follow into the truth in Iowa, this brother right here is the man that you want to follow. That's Priest and Officer of 500 Cucumber Bar under commanding General Yahanna. You understand? This right here, Most High Christ. This brother right here, he's going to show you how not to celebrate New Year's tonight. He's going to show you how not to celebrate the next one, which is for Brewer, which is that evil holiday of Valentine's Day that all you brothers want to have sex with another man's woman. You're in Iowa. This is going to keep you safe. He's going to show you how to be safe. And he's going to show you how to get the Lord's protection on your side. Everyone understand? Anything you wanted to say before we got started, Cucumber Bar?
No, nobody got nothing off top. You know, everybody hit the like button, hit the share button if y'all could.
Yeah, right.
You know, definitely hit the attendance sheet.
Yeah, right.
So you can get your credits, you know, for your Hebrew name if you're trying to get your Hebrew name. Get your pens and your pads, you know what I'm saying? Because you know we're gonna bring out precept upon precept.
That's right.
So with that, yeah.
Most High Christ. Damn right.
Get it going.
Let's get into it. Do you have any precepts? You don't have to bring them out now, hold them for later, but when I sent you line up those precepts for New Year's or just for Esau's holiday, you can use the same one for any of Esau's holidays. Do you have anything on that could come?
Yeah, kind of Makan. Yeah, I got some precepts.
Okay, no sweat. Save them for later. Save them for at the end of class when we break it all down. Right now we're gonna go into the origins of what you consider tonight your new year. Tonight is not the new year. If just in case you did not know, for all you brothers and sisters out there who are going to ignorantly and blindly celebrate your oppressor's new year, this is not the new year. I think the temperatures shit on Sunday was like -3 degrees between the Midwest, -15-degree wind chills. Everything is dead. This is not new. I sent you a few articles. I wanted you to get me Saturnalia first. We're going to go over why you celebrate New Year in the dead of winter when this is not new. The new year, no matter, and this is a question you will get to over your course or your time in the truth could come. Well, it's just winter here in America because niggas are not well traveled out. They have not been to the Middle East. They have not been to the Mediterranean. They have not been to Asia. Right now, it is colder there than it is in Chicago. Do you understand? All over the earth. Of course, you have Africa. Africa sits on the equator, so they don't get cold. But we're talking about livable places. 80% of Africa is not livable. We're talking about where majority of the earth lives and have always lived, which was not Africa. It's been Asia, and it's been the Middle East, which is Asia. And then, of course, now the Western society is in America. The Americas, South Central North America, where it gets cold. It gets cold in South America. It gets cold in North America. It gets cold in Asia. It gets cold everywhere there's someone living. You understand? That's important to know why. Because everywhere is the dead of winter right now. Not just over here in America. That's a easy mistake that a young brother can make. Well, it is just the winter here. No, it is winter everywhere. It's winter in Europe. It's winter in Asia. It's winter here in North and Central and South America. Everyone understand. So everywhere where 90% of the population of the earth lives, it's cold out. You understand? It's very cold. And that's very important to understand because that is the reason why you're celebrating New Year, so-called New Year, in the dead of winter. You got that? Shalom to the sister Bashamath. Shalom, sister Bashamath. Yahweh Shema Alepha. Bashim Yahweh all the way from Dallas, Texas. Good to see you as always, sis. Go ahead, Cucumber Bar.
No, I didn't have nothing to say.
No, I'm saying the article you got.
Oh, okay. Con. Yeah, so this is from Encyclopedia Britannica, and this is Saturnalia, which is a Roman festival. And Saturnalia, the most popular of Roman festivals dedicated to the Roman god Saturn. The festival's influence continues to be felt throughout the Western world.
And if I may, if I make it come, so what is Saturnalia is Roman pagan worship. It is the worship around the winter time, it's a festival of the winter, right? The oppressor, and this is another thing that you want to understand, because your oppressor and because heathens aren't God's chosen people, the one true living God, because they aren't God's chosen people, they're going to worship whatever they can. They're going to worship whatever they want, whatever they can, whatever gives off energy, power, animals, anything. Remember, the Egyptians worshiped everything. The Egyptians made everything a god. The scarab beetle, the dog, that old African wild dog you see in zoos everywhere, that is a god to the Egyptians. The moon, the sun, the wind, the earth, the water. You understand? Everything, when you're ignorant, is a god, because you aren't God's chosen people and you don't have the intellect or wisdom or sentientness to not worship the sun. So because of that, heathens make everything a party, everything a god. Winter, or the winter time, was a god to the Romans. It's called Saturnalia, is what the brother's reading. And so they had a festival. Now, this festival lasted, I believe it's going to tell you, 17 days. So this isn't just New Year's, so-called New Year's now. It started in December. Imagine a huge, big party that starts and ends weeks apart. Just like the Feast of First Fruits is a huge party, I think, for 50 days. Then you got, what's another long one? 8 days is pretty long, right? But you got a huge party. We got high holy days, and all of them means getting time off of your slave. It's a party. It's a feast, right? So your heathen, your oppressor, he makes everything a god, and he makes everything out to be. He uses anything as an excuse to fulfill his lust. That's what you want to remember about the Romans, the Greeks, the Africans, the Arabs, and the Chinese, the Asians. They will use anything as an excuse to get high, to have sex with little girls and little boys, and to just fulfill their lust, to eat in excess. Everything wasn't even about sex. It was just about excess, Kakam. This feast you're about to read about, they had this feast of Saturnalia, this party. They would eat so much where their bellies would be full, and they would vomit and then eat more, and then vomit and eat more. And it would be days of just them eating and vomiting. What's the point? Decadence. That's the point. Just like your Christian church. Reverend Adam Clayton Powell back in the 1960s called the Black Christian Church the most decadent place in the Black community, because your life in the church is fulfilling your lust. The Black Christian pastor, he can never have enough. He's always wanting more and more. He's so greedy and full of so much avarice, could come, that when he gets a big church with stained glass windows, he now is going to beg the people to give him what? More offering and tithe. You used to give me a $900 offering. Now I want $1,000. Now I want $10,000. Now I want $20,000, $50,000. That's the Christian church. It's decadent. Where do they get it from? Your oppressor, mainly the white man. He's the most decadent beast of the field. He can never have enough, and he's never satisfied. So they're going to have a 18-day feast or an 18-day party of just an orgy of food, where they just eat and explode, throw up, eat more, and then puke, eat more, and then vomit. That's your oppressor. This is Saturnalia. This is today. This is the season of the times that you're celebrating right now. This so-called New Year, brother, 2,000 years ago, there would be Romans just eating in excess until they vomit and then eat more. Go ahead, come. You had something you wanted to bring out?
Well, I was over here reading the comments, but I don't know if you want to address them. This digital soldier talking about Ethiopians and Nubians were the ones that were dark skinned, and if the Israelites were black, then Jeremiah would have said, "Can an Israelite change his skin?" But guess what? In the this is off subject, of course, but if we go to the I don't know if he's an Old Testament only, but in the book of Acts, chapter 13, if I could, it says that now they were in the church that was at Antioch, certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger. You understand? And what does that mean? That means black.
Yeah, right.
So, whatever he's talking about, of course, he's definitely unlearned.
Yeah, and a lot of these are just white men and purple faggot trolls. About 99% of them. You have some sincere, genuine, authentic ones here and there, but most of these people in these comments, and that's the internet. If I could come, that's the entire internet. For the life of me, and you're older than me, so you know this. Brother, I don't know what switched between reality and virtual reality. Like, I don't know what year it was, but brother, it is a push. I know it's from our oppressor in the CIA and the oppressor's government in America. Brother, I don't know what it is, what year it was, but it was a push. What would you say? Excuse me, 2012, 2015. Everything went digital. Everything to the point now you can't even pay a bill if you don't have a computer or access to the internet. You can't go up there and physically pay bills. Even in small towns now, everything is digital. Everything. The oppressor's military. That's why their recruitment numbers are dropping. No one's joining the oppressor's military anymore because the oppressor doesn't want people to join his military. That's why he created the Space Force. Everything is going electronic and digital. Everything is artificial intelligence. We went from reality to virtual reality. That's why shopping businesses, they are losing revenue. Every year it drops. Every year it goes down. Why? Because online business booms. No one goes into stores anymore, buys anything. Why buys anything anymore? Why am I bringing that up? Because everything in virtual reality is fake. That's why it's virtual. The people you see on social media aren't real. You know those people you see on social media you follow and you think they live the life they live? These old black couples with these farms. Black people don't own farms. You understand? I hate to break your heart, but black people don't own ranches and farms. So when you see black people, a family of black people on land, that's not their land. They're there taking pictures and videos to make you believe they own that land. You understand? Those people you see who own these houses, the people you see on social media that own these big houses, you're like, man, I got to get my life together so I can own a house like that. Mainly your rappers and entertainers. They're all broke. You understand? All of them are broke. Every last one of them. How do I know? Because they're still working. People who don't need a job won't work. If rich people don't work, do I have to break that down? Do you think Jeff Bezos clocks in? Do you think, give me some more, Bill Gates clocks in? Warren Buffett, do you think he clocks in? People that work need the money. Oprah needs the money. LeBron, why do you think people like, man, LeBron James is still playing basketball? Because he needs to make money. You're a slave. And that's what we're going to, this ties in. I'm glad you brought this up because this ties into tonight's topic. I'm going into that. Slave, what was life like as a slave on New Year's? You're going to cook black-eyed peas and collard greens. You never learned from the past. Like I had a conversation with a young man earlier today, and I had to break it down to him. Like our people struggle with learning the lessons from the past. Here you are in 2026, and 200 years ago, your great-great-great-great-grandmother cooked collard greens, swept the floor, made sure that black-eyed peas was on the pot. You're doing the same thing, and you're supposed to be more educated, have access to more resources, and you're supposed to be equal. You're supposed to have civil rights now, affirmative action now. And here you are living the same life as a slave great-grandmother. That isn't sad to you that you made no progress since 1855? You're doing the same tradition, the same thing. And this is the kicker. Now you have something your grandmother didn't have. You have virtual reality. You have the internet. You live in virtual reality. Virtual, meaning it's not real. You believe a life on the internet that is fake. The people that are making videos on the internet aren't real. Do you understand? Do I have to break that down? Or is there a grown adults in the comment section? Is there anybody real in the comment section that's a grown adult? These people that comment, these people that like post, these are all bots. These people are not real. There's studies and proof of everything I'm saying. The people that you see on social media with these gigantic mansions, that's not really their mansion. I hope I'm not breaking y'all's heart, but I got to tell you the truth, Kakum. I got to tell these niggas the truth. These people are not living that life. Those musicians, those basketball players, those black people who are entertainers, we're all broke and we're all slaves. All of us. You got a few slaves that make a little bit more than us. LeBron makes more money than us, but he's still a broke slave compared to your oppressor. And here's another thing, we have no power. That's another thing, which is why you're cooking the collard greens right now. That's why you made sure you cleaned your house today. That's why you made sure that you had black-eyed peas on the stove, because you are looking for something that is not real, that's going to give you power, that really can't give you power. Instead of simply coming into the I.S.U.P.K and getting real power, real knowledge, real universal practical knowledge, do you know what you do? You cook collard greens and spit on a broom when you sweep somebody's feet. That's what you do, because you have pseudo power. Your power is not real. Your power comes from spitting on a broom when you sweep somebody's feet to make you feel like, yeah, I'm controlling whether or not my son goes to jail. You know, that's old Judite superstition. You got to spit on the broom, because if you sweep somebody's feet, then somebody in your family is going to jail. I don't know if black people know this or not, but you are #1 in jail. I don't know how many of us got our sweet feet swept, but I know that your black ass is in prison. Not because of people sweeping your feet, but because you have no power in this place. And I'm here tonight to give black people something that they have never had, and that's real power. Real power comes from a real God, not that old superstitious garbage that you believe since the 1800s, when you were living in a one-room shotgun shack on a plantation in Louisiana and Mississippi. Here you are supposed to have education, supposed to have rights, supposed to be more intelligent than the previous generations, and you still do the same thing. You still make the same mistakes. The internet isn't real. This life that you live on the internet is fake. It's not real. You don't have real skills, you don't have real money, and you don't have real power. This virtual reality is to entice your desire to live vicariously through someone you think has what you don't. It's the Hegelian dialectic. It's the synthesis, the antithesis, and the what's the other part of it? What's the third part of the Hegelian dialectic, guy? Anybody know in the comment section? Jog my memory, Baba Bashar. I know sis probably knows. She's both y'all college graduates. Ain't both of y'all synthesis, and I said it right. The synthesis, antithesis, and the thesis. That's what your life is caught in that triangle. A string, you're a puppet pulled by the strings of a puppet master that lives with more power than you, who controls your life. His name is the white man, Esau, and he's controlling all of you. All of you. This is nothing but a damn rerun. That's what this is. And you're living in it. And instead of waking the hell up like we have under Commander Yahanna, you willingly participate. At one time, you had to be forced to live like this. At one time, your forefathers were slaves. They had to be forced to believe what you believe. Now you willingly believe it. And you have access to the internet, full of knowledge, full of knowledge and understanding on this internet app. You got Britannica on the internet. I'm old enough to come to remember when you had to buy the Britannica set. That was like $500 that you could never afford. There was a set of books that these kids will never understand. My kids do, because we get the real books. I don't like that whole spending every day on a tablet. Monday through Friday, my children are not allowed to spend any time on a tablet or look at an electronic device. They have to read and take notes and do studying and mathematics and goddamn the way things are supposed to be. You're looking at a phone and you're still dumb. You can't read on your grade level. They say that the national average for children's literacy is 4th grade reading level. They say that the national average for children is a kindergarten reading level. They say that the national average for adults in America is a 4th grade reading level. They say the average American can't read a research paper. The average American he doesn't know how to write a dissertation or what a thesis, antithesis, or a synthesis is. You can't read. You don't have reading comprehension. Why? Because of this thing here. This is a device used, electronics and internet is a device used for you to be dumber. You don't have to use it for that reason. You could use it to be smarter, but that's not what you use it for. You use it to distract you from reality because your reality is so depressing. If you didn't have the internet and marijuana, you would kill yourself. That's the truth about your life. If you didn't have alcoholism because of all the molestation you suffered as a little girl, a little boy, because of all the trauma you've endured since 7 years old, if you didn't have virtual reality, you would put a gun in your mouth and a noose around your neck. What I'm here to do under Command and Journey Yahanna is I'm here to give you power. I'm here to give you real biblical power and skills that you can take in any lifetime, in any place, universally. I'm here to give you practical knowledge. And that's what you need in the last days. You need real life practical knowledge. Then you wouldn't celebrate so-called New Year's. You would be looking at this Britannica set on the internet. Oh, you got the scripture up. I thought you said Britannica.
Oh,
you would be looking
here we go.
You will be looking at a Britannica set that shows you Saturnalia, the feast of orgies. And this is why they celebrated this feast, because it was winter. Do you understand? Simply because the earth is tilted on its axis away from the sun. That gave them right to celebrate a damn feast. That's how ignorant your oppressor is. But guess what's more sad than knowing why he does what he does? He's ruling over you. That's what's more sad about your reality, is that you are a people who are smarter than the white man, who are better, who have more morals than the white man, but he's still ruling over you. Do you want to know why? Because you're caught up in a white man's game. You're caught up in virtual reality instead of gaining real knowledge and power and wisdom and understanding. That is our downfall. That's our downfall. Go ahead and read what you got, Kakam.
Khan. Yeah, so it says originally Saturnalia is originally, celebrated on December 17th. The Saturnalia was extended first to 3 and eventually to 7 days. The date has been connected with the winter sowing season, which in modern Italy varies from October to January. Remarkably, the Greek Chronia, it was the liveliest festival of the year. All work and business were suspended. Slaves were given temporary freedom to say, and moral restrictions were eased.
You hear that? Moral restrictions were eased. You know what that means, don't you? You could do whatever you felt like doing, Kakam. That's why that's why I say it's the most wonderful time of the year, because Christmas and New Year, it is a time where you can, tonight in the world, I remember being in the world, New Year's, that's when brothers wanted to get some tail from a strange thing. Am I lying, Kakam?
Right.
Brothers in New Year saying, man, I'm keeping this phone on because I know some hoe is going to call me saying she want me to come top 5 of that tail, and I'm going to do it unprotected. I'm going to wake up burning, but I'm going to fulfill my lust, because all morals are eased. Moral restriction is eased during Saturnalia. You are just a puppet of your slave master. You do everything the white man does. And could come for the life of me, I will never understand this side. How is it that you have black men like what's his name, Mark? The one that called Captain Cesariak, Baptist Cesariak, the one in California?
Say that one more time.
Whack 100. Whack 100. This is what I would never understand about brothers in the streets. Brother, have you talked to brothers in the streets lately, Kakam?
Oh, what kind?
Okay, let me ask you a question. When you talk to them about I know they still celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's. Do they, when you ask them questions, do you ever get into any politics like, hey man, what do you think about Trump? You ever ask a brother in the streets that, a brother that's fresh out of jail or a brother in the streets, what did he say?
Shit, you know, they gonna say that F Donald Trump, pretty much.
Okay, now when you talk to them about anything else political,
you know,
what are they? What is their spirit like in the streets, brothers in the streets? How are they talking?
I mean, most Negroes out here don't even pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Now you got every now and again, you might got your so-called want to be educated brothers out here, and you know they got everybody want to be woke all of a sudden.
Right,
you know what I mean? So-called woke, but overall, you know, because you know we in the UPK, we got the spirit of the Lord on us. Most of these brothers and sisters don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, right. And the reason I asked that, I'm sorry, I didn't know you weren't finished.
No,
I
was just gonna say they kind of just regurgitate certain things that they hear.
Yes.
You know, like you just brought out, whatever they see, a meme, they spit and regurgitate memes. You know what I mean? But they really don't study. They don't really get too in depth, you know, to the solution and the cause or the solution.
Yeah, that's hey, give him a hand. I'm gonna tell you something I do know. Brothers in the streets absolutely love what Donald Trump is doing. You understand? Let this blow your mind, Doc. It once again with the virtual reality and the internet could come. I don't know when it was that brothers who are in the streets who supposed to be you know, rebels. Brothers in the streets are supposed to have that spirit of being against the establishment. That's why you're committing crime. Salakia. You're a nigga in the street. You're selling more dope than Noriega. You're doing all the crime you want because you're bucking the system. You have a spirit of, man, I ain't doing what the white man say. That's what you would think, right? Brother, you should go and interview brothers in the streets on camera. Could come one day. And you got to ask them certain questions. Ask them questions like what Donald Trump is doing with the crime bill or with crime or with ICE. I had a brother tell me here in Kansas City, man, I'm glad he's getting these men. Does this sound familiar? The Mexicans coming over here taking our jobs. These are niggas in the streets saying that. They coming over here taking our jobs. Who else believes that? The Ku Klux Klan, aka Donald Trump's cabinet. I remember back in his first presidency, what was Donald Trump doing? It was something, and black people said they were supporting it like hell. Not just the immigration bill. It was something else. And I said, my God. Oh, yes, during Joe Biden. Brother, niggas in Chicago, in the streets of Chicago, just 3 years ago said, we don't want those immigrants, those illegal immigrants coming to Chicago because they're taking our resources. Do you know who else believes that? The Ku Klux Klan believes that in the South. Southern poor racist devils in the South. They believe the same thing. Like you are just a white man now. I don't know how much more plainly I can break it down to him. Come help me out. Like I'm trying to be as nice as I can. But you brothers in the streets, in the church, you think the same. I know you think you're so different. But Black, Latino, and Native Indians who are Christians in the streets, in gangs, you're really just an extension of white supremacy. That's all you are. That's why ICE came to Chicago, snatched up brothers and sisters in Chicago, and the GDs and vice lords did nothing. You know why? Because the GDs and vice lords also hate black people. The Crips and the Bloods also hate black people. The Rolling 60s, the Crips, the Bloods, you give me any more black gangs, BMF, you brothers and sisters hate black people. You know who else hates black people? White people. The Ku Klux Klan. Donald Trump. Donald Trump hates Mexicans. So does the Crips and the Bloods. So does the Rolling 60s. So does the GD and Vice Lord. How do I know? Because they were nowhere to be found when those ICE agents are beating the head of some abuela in on the street on pavement. They're nowhere to be found. But if that same abuela comes through the street with a red or blue shirt or green shirt or whatever the hell the rival or beef is, she's getting shot. Her grandson will get shot wearing red in a Crip neighborhood. You don't care about black life. You don't care about black people. You know what black people have become? The Ku Klux Klan could come. Black people believe the same thing the Klan believes. You ever hear brothers in the street say, man, I ain't gonna lie, these white women, man, they give you more peace than a black woman. You got to marry these white women. You don't hear brothers in the streets talking about whitetail?
Right.
You want to know why? Guess who else praises white women and only loves white women and thinks white women are better than black women? Take a wild guess. The Ku Klux Klan, Donald Trump, white supremacists. Like, all you are really is just a white supremacist. All you are white. That's all you are. I know you think you're so pro-black or you buck the system, but realistically, you celebrate everything your oppressor celebrates. You love what he loves. You have the same interest as him, and you think the same as him. Really, all you are outside of the truth are white supremacists. That's all you are. That's another thing that black people have to swallow, a black pill that we have to swallow. You have become your own worst enemy. That's what you are. Now, do you have to stay that way? No, we don't. How do we stop it? How do we wake our people up? You got to come into truth and learn why you shouldn't even celebrate New Year's. And this is another thing could come, if I may, as I'm going on this rant. Salakia. You don't care what the truth or origin of New Year's is. We're going to teach this class until Christ returns. Black people still won't care what the real origins of New Year's is. They won't give a damn about Saturnalia. They won't care about Semiramis. They won't care about Tammuz. They won't care about Nimrod. They won't care about the Christmas tree being pagan. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, at the heart of it, we don't care about the sin that we commit. Give me a scripture real quick on that point. Give me a scripture real quick. Give me the book of John, chapter 3 and verse 19. I remember that by heart. Give me John 3 and 19 real quick. And then we're going to go back to Semiramis or Saturnalia. Give me John 3 and 19 real quick. Here's something that we have to accept and we have to really digest. You love to sin. And that is the truth about you. You really love the sin that you commit. You don't care what the origins of something are. We're going to teach about the truth of life and give you universal practical knowledge until Christ returns, and you still won't give a damn about any of it. You don't think drug dealers know they're doing wrong by selling their people drugs? You don't think they know that? You don't think sisters know it's wrong to be a whore and a slut? You don't think sisters know they shouldn't be strippers? You don't think sisters know that they should not be scissoring some other girl, that their LGBT lifestyle is wrong? You don't think they know that? They do know it. They love it. That's what you have to accept. You have to accept that you love to sin. You love to have an addiction to porn. You love to touch little kids. You love to have sex with another man's woman, don't you? You love to be Mr. Steal Your Girl. You love Christmas and Thanksgiving. You know in 2025 that Thanksgiving is celebrating the murder of the North American Indian, another brown people, your people, and you're still going to eat that turkey. You're still going to say, well, it's called Friendsgiving now. You're still going to do it. You want to know why? Because you don't give a damn. You love to sin. You don't care that Christmas is a pagan idol worship. You don't care that it worships the god Nimrod of an African people. You don't care that it offends your God. You don't care. Here's what you have to remember. Because you don't care why you sin, God won't care when you die from your sin. That's what you have to remember. Precept could come. Precept.
Yeah, this is the book of John.
No, not John 3:19, not this one. Save that one. I'm asking you, what is the precept to what I just said? Because you don't care because you don't care of the sin that you commit, because you don't care that you offend your God and that you hurt your God and you provoke him to wrath, because you don't care, guess what? God won't care when he puts you to death. God won't care when you get cancer. God won't care when you get HIV and AIDS. Precept.
Well, there's so many of them.
Shit, give me one of them. You're right. It is a lot of.
One I was thinking of was because you put up a no God for me, I put up a no people for you.
That's a good one. Give him a hand. One, I'm gonna tell you the one I was thinking of. The one I was thinking of is he gave them up to vile affection. You know why that's always so heavy to me? Because it says he gave them up. They asked for it, and this is what he gave you. You want this life, don't you? You want to keep. You want America to last forever. You really don't give a damn about oppression in America. I see you Negroes post videos and get millions of followers because of your historical black breakdown and content. Meanwhile, you have sex with white people. Meanwhile, you celebrate New Year's and Christmas. You clearly don't give a damn about the crime that your oppressor has committed against you. You clearly don't care. How do I know? Because no matter how much knowledge you have, you still commit the same sins. With all this knowledge you have, you still do the same thing. You know Thanksgiving is celebrating the murder of your people. You still celebrate it. You still celebrate. You know Christmas is pagan. You know New Year's is not really the New Year because it's the dead of winter. You're still going to do it. Why? You're still going to get high knowing that drugs killed your people, killed your uncle. Drugs is the reason why you never saw your father or your mother. Drugs is the reason why you were raped and molested. You're going to use drugs. Why? Because you don't care about why or what it does to your people. You don't give a damn. You don't care. You want it. So guess what? God is going to give you up to every vile affection you want and the punishments that come with it. God won't care when you're destroyed, just like you didn't care when you angered him. Go ahead and read the scripture I gave you to pull out. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shema, Shah, sister Izarah. Shalom, sis. Shalom to this brother here. Brother, oh, that's the sister, Salaki, sister Ronnie Ewing. Shalom, sis. She must be in Iowa up there. Oh, that's your sister, ain't it?
Yeah, come.
I'm sorry. I remember the sister. Give her a hand. That sister love her some damn Hitman Holla. Wasn't it Hitman y'all love? Hitman Holla. Yeah. They don't want us to know murder moot. They want Hitman Holla. I hear you, sis. I hear you. Well, it's good to see you again, sis. Sis did her thing up there with the chili and the donations and all that. Get that sister Ronnie a hand.
Yeah, damn right.
Most High in Christ says Shalom. Yahweh Shema Alafah B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, here's another good. How I send you funds. I.S.U.P.K. Kansas City on Cash App. If you want to send us funds, I.S.U.P.K. Kansas City on Cash App. Go pay your tithes at ISUPK.com. Everyone understand? Go ahead. Come Salaki.
Yeah, yeah, that's the book of John, chapter 3, verse 19. And this is the condemnation that light is come into the world. And men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil.
Let me explain something to you, Aki. You don't give a damn because you truly love darkness. I told that to that brother earlier, young man I was talking to earlier. He asked that question. Why is it that we know these things? He asked a heavy question. Now, he asked me, he said, how is it that our people know our error? We know what we're doing wrong. We know that we tried all these other gods, all these other religions. We know that how we live is a sin. We know that. This is what the young man asked me. He said, we know it. He said, we even know because we're Christians, the life that we live. He didn't say we, but he said, we see in the Bible, in the Old Testament, how the Lord punished us there. Why do we do the same thing now to get punished now? I said, brother, that's such a heavy question. I said, I go to John 3:19. You see, this is the part that Christians miss after they misinterpret John 3:16. They miss John 3:19. This is your life, Black Christian. This is your life, Raza. This is your life, Native Indian. You love darkness. That's the truth about you. So we can talk until we're blue in the face about the truth and the origins of New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving and 4th of July. We can tell you how much it's hurting your community that you sell dope and use dope. You're still going to do it because you love it. That's the truth about you. You love to celebrate Christmas. You love to celebrate New Year. You love to hurt your God. You love to offend your God. You love to anger your God with your birthdays, with your Christianity, with your Islam, with your voting. You love to offend him and anger him. So guess what? When punishment comes, God won't care. He's going to turn his head because you love to do what you want to do. So God is going to do what he wants to do. Everyone understand that? Go ahead, Kakunga Bar.
Right.
You got something you want to say on that, or you can go back to Saturnalia.
No, yeah, we're gonna go back to the Britannica. Yeah, so this is reading on, and it says Encyclopedia Britannica, all work and business were suspended for Saturnalia, that is. Slaves were given temporary freedom to say and do what they liked, and certain moral restrictions were eased. The streets were infected with the Mardi Gras madness. A mock king was chosen, inside parentheses of Saturnalicus. Yeah, Saturnalicus princeps. The seasonal greeting, Io Saturnalia, was heard everywhere. The closing days of Saturnalia were known as Sigillaria because of the custom of making toward the end of the festival presents of candles, wax models of fruit, and waxen statues, which were fashioned by the sigillari, or manufacturers of small figures in wax and other media.
What you want to remember is this holiday season, it is a culmination of Saturnalia, Nimrod or Tammuz, Nimrod/Tammuz, what's the Ceramicus, and just a bunch of pagan gods and goddess worship. It's a bunch of nonsense garbage that you're going to continue to participate in because realistically, you love white people, you love their culture, you love America, and you love to sin. Everyone understand? All right. Now go to the next one I gave you. Go to slaves. It's Salakia. Was there one more article? Or was the slaves one the last one I sent you?
You got the Janus one.
Give me Janus. It ain't gonna make a difference, Kakam. How do I know? Because in about 3 hours, we're still gonna hear gunshots.
Right.
Since 1969, the I.S.U.P.K have been teaching you and warning you to never celebrate your oppressor's New Year. That New Year isn't tonight. It's in the spring when everything grows and everything is new. This is Janus. This is Saturnalia. We've been saying it since the 60s. You still fire off gunshots. Tonight is the beginning of your end. Just remember I told you that. You're going to go to jail tonight. You're going to get shot tonight. You're going to get killed tonight, raped tonight, destroyed tonight. You know why? Because you refuse to listen to the men of God. That's why. You refuse to listen to us, and we're on these streams and platforms. Captain Tazark is all over the internet. You know what's going to happen in the last days? You won't be able to say, I didn't know about the Israelites. I didn't know about we had to come into the truth. Because then you would be lying. Everyone is going to have the opportunity to wake the hell up. You decide to stay asleep because you love sin. You love darkness. That's the truth about you. So God is not going to feel bad when he destroys you tonight at 12 a.m. Go ahead, Kakam. Read Janus.
Yeah, kind of. If I could, yeah. So just since we brought up that in Saturnalia, but you know what? I'll wait on that.
Wow, what was you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna bring up a precept, but I could probably bring that out right after we talk about Janus.
Okay, no sweat. Go ahead, mighty man.
All right. Kind of. So this is also in the Book of Britannica. Janus, a Roman god. Reading on. And as you see, this is the image that they got right there.
So
Janus
hold on. Let me pull it up. Go ahead, Kakam.
Janus is a Roman religion, the animistic spirit of doorways, an archway, Janai. Janus and the nymph Camasine were the parents of Tiberinus, whose death in or by the river Albula caused it to be renamed the Tiber.
So listen, Janus is a mythological, and this is also something that's important for you to understand. Whenever history teaches you about important white gods or white beliefs or saints and all that, they are not real. Myth means they're made up, like Romulus and Remus. All it is like virtual reality could come. So for some reason, like the white man loves living in virtual reality. He does not like reality. He doesn't like living in reality. For some reason, he wants to make up stuff. Everything the white man believes is made the hell up. Everything from his gods to his origin story. Right. The origin of the Romans, or the white man Greeks and Romans, were two wolves being born and raised by a woman. Romulus and Remus were supposed to be two wolves. This is the origin of who you today would call the Italians. Do you understand? This is what they believe is their origin story. And when you go to Italy, it's there. It's not like this is something hidden. They really believe this. Like, I've been to Italy. I know what I'm talking about. It's there. They believe this. Yeah, Romulus and Remus are, are antecedents. This is what they would tell you. Like, they believe they descend from wolves and apes and monkeys. The white man is really a child. He's really a stupid, sottish child. That's what the white man is. And here you are following what he believes. You're a child too. That's why you believe what's on the internet is real. You believe it's all real. My Lord, if you could just go back in the hand, rewind the hands of time could come. If I could just go back and wisen up when I was like 16, 15, Jesus Christ, believe in everything you see like a child does. The white man is a child, He's a spoiled child, and you're soon behind him. You're a sottish child too. Just a spoiled, ignorant, dummy child that believes that you descend from two wolves. Here you are celebrating a holiday based in vanity. It's all vain. All of this is vain. All of it is vain. The money that you're striving for, you're going to kill and steal and lie and cheat to try to be the next P. Diddy, to try to be the next LeBron James, to try to be the next, so you can get all this money just for you to have nothing. You're going to pray to God that you win the lottery, to win the lottery and then go broke. It's all vanity. The only thing that is real substance is your adherence to the laws of God. That's it. Brotherhood is substance. It's something you can base your life. What are you going to devote your life to? Janus? Some God that is not real? That's what you're going to pop fireworks for tonight? What are you cooking collard greens and black-eyed peas for tonight? For Janus? For vain? For nothing? You're doing it for nothing. That's your life. It's the Hegelian dialectic. That's your life. It's caught in that triangle. It's the synthesis, the thesis, the antithesis, or the antithesis. It's just that triangle. You're working hard to, brother, they pushed the retirement day back to 67, age to 67. It used to be 63. Then it was 65. Now it's 67. By the time it's time for my generation to retire, the 90s, the baby's generation to retire, it's going to be 77. And then you're going to die before you retire, which is the point. And it hurts my head to think about this. But what are you going to do? You're going to still work. You're going to work. Do you understand? It's like this. This is the same. This is how silly it is. The Black Friday sales. You remember how Black Friday was back in the day could come when you would actually have to stand in that long ass line at 2 o'clock in the morning until 7. You would be standing there just to do what? Go in the store, break everybody's nose with your uncles and your daddy, just to get these TVs, to go to the front and buy it. Do you understand that? You know how silly it is to live a life where, like, we're really sottish children. You're really childish. You're going to go wait 8 hours to bust into the doors of a sale during holiday time, just so you can break everybody's nose, hurt everybody, be violent against everybody, get your nose busted, toes broke, to get this TV that's going to be $30 less than it normally is, to go and buy the TV. You did all that to buy it, not to just take the shit home. You see where your mind is? This is why it's so easy for your oppressor to control you, because you don't have the spirit of someone who wants revolution, which is real change, you have the spirit of a slave. You live like a slave, you think like a slave. Real revolution is knowing the truth and living according to the truth. You're living in a rat race. You're living in a, a cycle. I got to get this job, work for 80 years just to get 401ks and all that, just for money that isn't really money. You see how silly we follow our oppressor blindly, ignorantly, foolishly, instead of just coming into the. Now, you mean to tell me that this life you're living under your oppressor is better than the life you would live under Commander Yahanna? I beg to differ. I think you would all do better under Commander Yahanna, including you white people and heathens. All of you would do better with Commander Yahanna ruling over you. You should just let him rule over you and let the I.S.U.P.K rule, because it wouldn't be a rat race. Right. It wouldn't be you working for money that's worthless. Did you know that? Did you know that gold went down on the gold standard on the stock market? Silver, for the first time in years, is worth more than gold. Do you see the trends that I'm seeing, Kakum? Are you picking up what I'm laying down, Kakum Gabar?
Kind of what come.
You want a stake in something that's not going to be here. Your life is just vain. Your life is vain. It's hard for you to swallow that, which is why we had so many of those trolls just leave from watching this class, but it's the truth. Your life is rooted in vanity. You gotta every December 25th, you gotta go work all year. Teach your children that Santa Claus is gonna bring you something nice if you're good, if you do well in school, just to work this hard to go and spend your last dollar for these gifts, just for you to be broke the next month and can't pay your rent. Then you're gonna go December 31st every year, and you're gonna shoot off bullets in the air to celebrate a new year, a new beginning. But you get fatter the next year, dumber the next year, broker the next year. And you're not new. It's not a new beginning. It's the dead of winter and cold as hell outside. Your life is just vain. And I don't know how else to put it to you. I'm trying to be as nice as I can, Kakum. I don't know how to put it to our people that your life is vain. The things that you want in life are vain. Your life is vain. You're 40 and 50 and you've accomplished nothing with your life because you have made it a thing to live for white acceptance. That's what you've done. You wasted your youth trying to please the white man, voting. Mm-hmm. You wasted your youth doing what your oppressor wanted you to do instead of in your youth establishing a foundation built on the truth, built in the Bible, built on the laws of God, built in real substance. Your life is just based in vanity. That's why you're so depressed right now. That's why if it wasn't for weed and alcohol and whores and lascivious behavior, you would put a gun in your mouth. If it wasn't for those drugs, you would put a gun in your mouth. That's the truth. And yeah, this was so heavy. The drugs are going to kill you. You're going to overdose on those because you need those in excess because you know your life is miserable because you have lived a life that is wasted. You just wasted away. That's all you are, is just another number for Jeff Bezos to make $1 trillion. Here you are living in a land that's so rich and you get crumbs and nobody is doing anything about it. What are we living in the goddamn Twilight Zone could come? Is the I.S.U.P.K the only ones who want real change? Are we the only ones? We must be the only ones who want real change. The French had enough gall to at least overthrow their government. The Ottoman Empire had enough gall. The Prussian Empire had enough gall to overthrow their government. They did that. They realized they were living in a rat race. They were living in the Hegelian dialectic, and they got sick of it. It didn't take them 250 years. You understand? It didn't take them 350 years. It damn sure didn't take them 2,000 years to get their act together like Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They said, you know what? Enough. Brother, do you know that, what's his name, that assassinated John Wilkes Booth? Do you know that John Wilkes Booth assassinated Abraham Lincoln 4 days after the Civil War ended? 4 days after Emancipation Proclamation. Did you know that could come?
Yeah, come.
John Wilkes Booth assassinated Abraham Lincoln 4 days after he got word that the slaves were free. What does that tell you?
That pretty much he don't like niggas. Lucky.
Yeah, it tells you. I could have told you that before he assassinated Lincoln. But what does that also tell you? Remember, this is at the time where there was horse and buggy. He rode a horse to D.C. You understand? This wasn't like he had to got to get on the car. It took 4 days because that was the time it took him to travel to go kill Lincoln, which means this. He read the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, and he already made it up in his mind he was going to assassinate the president. Do you understand? Like, he didn't read it, and then 50 years later, his people were mourning and sad, like, man, I didn't want this to happen. And then 50 years later, he killed the president. He read it and said, I'm going to kill that bastard, the president. I'm going to kill Lincoln. And then he rode. It took him 3 days to ride. Then the next day, he had to make sure he was there at the place and time that he was at to assassinate him. Meanwhile, like, here we are. How long has it been since the Emancipation Proclamation? 200 and what would that be? 50 years? 252 years? 250 years after the Emancipation, or 230 years after the Emancipation Proclamation could come, and we still haven't figured this thing out yet? We're still going to celebrate New Year's tonight could come? Is that what you're telling me? After the Reconstruction era, after all of the crime our oppressor has done to us, and we're going to still willingly be his slave? How long is it going to take us to be like John Wilkes Booth and make up our minds and say, damn, you know what? Maybe we should stop doing these. Maybe we should stop celebrating Christmas. Maybe we should stop giving our money to our oppressor. Maybe we should all come together in the truth. Maybe we need to actually put something in our, like, how long does that take for us to do? Because, brother, it's been 2,000 years to come. We've been living this curse since the Greeks. Do you understand? Is that, it blows my mind to think about it, that a white man, he has the spirit of, I can't ever be conquered. I read the news that I don't like, and I go and storm the Capitol January 6th, 2019, 2020. He stormed the Capitol not even an hour after the election results. Do you understand that? He has a spirit in him that he can't be conquered. Meanwhile, are we homeborn slaves? Do we have a spirit that we just want to be conquered? Is that what it is? Like, how long is it going to take for us to wake up? How long? We've been bringing these things out since 69 could come, and we're still in the rat race. We're still caught up in a rat race. We're still living a vain life full of vanity, full of nothing, things that mean nothing. I mean, maybe I need to do a damn documentary about it, or expose or something to get to the bottom of it. But this thing I just don't understand, Doc. What is it about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that you just can't revolve? And maybe that'll be an interview question I do this weekend or next weekend. What is it about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that you're comfortable with oppression? That's the question I want you to ask, Kakam. I want you to ask that question. That's going to be our interview question for next Saturday, right? I'm going to ask Black people, specifically Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, why are you so comfortable with oppression? Because you haven't revolved yet. There hasn't been uproar yet. There hasn't been mass. You know what they did in the 60s, right? They stopped riding the bus. They stopped riding the bus. Why is it that you're so comfortable with oppression? Is it because of virtual reality? Is that why? It's because of the internet? Is it because America has made you comfortable with living as a slave? Or is it because you just never experienced the other side of slavery? Maybe that's what it is. Right. But it's something that we need to study, Kakam. It's something I would like to study. It's something in me that since I've been in the truth, my time in the truth, I've always struggled with the thought of the fact that my people don't have the same spirit as everybody else. Every other racial group, brother, if this were the Arabs, there would be organized revolution. If the Arabs lived in the richest country that has ever existed in world history, and they're starving, and their children are being pulled over by the cops and being beat and shot every day, there would be organized revolution if this were the Arabs. If this were the Africans, there will be civil war. If this were the white man, they would read the Emancipation Proclamation, storm the Capitol, and kill the president. How is it that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are so comfortable with taking abuse, with being abused, with having our cities burned to the goddamn ground, with losing our revenue, with losing someone stripping your culture, raping your daughters and your wives, and you do nothing. You sit back and accept defeat. You sit back and celebrate the person who oppressed your forefathers, who's oppressing you. You sit back and say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. What spirit was that? The spirit that Judas Maccabees had? Because that ain't the spirit of our forefathers. To sit back and just accept defeat. You were going to say something could come, Salaki.
Yeah, I was gonna say, definitely, that's the classic Hosea 4. Our people destroyed for a lack of knowledge, you know what I mean? And because we reject knowledge, the Lord shall reject thee, and then also was to say, the Lord said, who did he said? I think it was to Ezekiel, right? If I'm not mistaken, he said, surely if I would have, he said, I sent you to those of not of a different tongue, those are your own people. But if I would have sent you to those of another tongue or whatnot, they would surely have listened by now. Pretty much, what precept I'm talking about?
That's heavy. Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. And so, like you said, if the Arabs were about the, if the Lord was going towards the Arabs or to the Chinese man or to the East Indian man, they would have been there and came into this truth.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? But that just goes to show you that the truth is only for the Israelites.
Damn right.
But guess what? This truth is only for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we just hard-headed. You know what I mean? We don't want to hear it. And like it says in Jeremiah too, like you said, because thou lovest oppression, surely it shall come down as a breach. Everything's gonna be crashing down on you because we're so comfortable in this lifestyle in America and Babylon the Great. And for those who ain't listening to the Most High God and listening to Commanding General Yahanna and coming into this truth, listen, the rug is gonna get swept from under your feet.
Yeah, right.
And you ain't gonna know what to do when everything hits the fan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, brother, that's heavy. What you saying? I know the scripture you're referring to, and that's heavy. That's a heavy point. And if I may, it would drive a man crazy. Now you see all the prophets people thought they were crazy because it was like the spirit we have where we ask these questions could come. They wondering the same thing, and they kept asking the Lord. Remember Ezra? He was famous for just getting on God's nerve about asking God, how long is this going to be? How long are you going to torture and torment your people? How long do we have to be oppressed? How long? He could not stand the fact that the Lord was not answering the day and time. Like he wanted a day and time of when are we going to be free? Why is it taking so long? You know what I've learned? Reading about Ezra, the book of Ezra could come and just knowing the spirit of a prophet because I'm a prophet and we're prophets of God in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I've learned, Doc? We are preventing our own salvation.
Right.
It's the sad truth, Doc. Give me hold Job 12:6. Right. I think everybody got the point about Janice. Everybody, listen, let me tell you something, Doc. Let me pull me on full screen to come. Let me explain something to everybody. Don't celebrate New Year's tonight. Right? It is not the worship of God. It doesn't come from God. It's not our tradition. It's not our culture. It's not the real New Year. Everything is dead. Janus was a fake, false, vain god of the Greeks, of the Romans. And this fake, false god, he was supposed to be synonymous with, or he was a two-faced god that was supposed to be synonymous with doorways, with openings. And so because it's something new, you get to become new. You get to walk through this path, this new doorway on New Year's. It's new. You get to go to the gym and be a new person, a new creature. All of it's vain. All of it's stupid. Change comes from what you are willing to give up to serve God. That's what real change comes from. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, do not celebrate New Year's tonight. Stay home. Don't celebrate New Year's. Don't tell anyone Happy New Year. Just go to bed. Go to bed. That's what you do. Go to sleep. And then when you wake up, get in contact with your nearest I.S.U.P.K school. Everyone understand? Salakia.
That's right.
Now that we got that out the way, I want you to give me Job 12:6 out. Bible Kashah.
Colonel McCon. Yeah, this is the book of Job, chapter 12, verse 6. It says, the tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly.
Read that again.
The tabernacles of robbers prosper.
What are the tabernacles of robbers? Anyone know what the tabernacles of robbers are? Anyone online want to give it a shot? What is the tabernacles of robbers? Anybody online want to give it a shot? Anyone in class could come. Shalom Nahar. Y'all want to try to give it a shot? What is the tabernacles of robbers? We got some time. We're going to break these things down. We're going to wake our people up. So help me God. Because, brother, I mean, you will go crazy, could come if you had to go another year watching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians make the same mistake. Imagine being Commander General Yahanna. He's been watching us make the same mistakes for 40 years. I mean, how do you do it? I could understand now why those prophets were going crazy. I can completely understand. They're going bald, they're losing their hair, they're stressing, because this is a job where we care about our people. And when we see the foolish mistakes of our people for the last 400 years, 2,000 years, 6,000 years, brother, come on now.
Right.
It's enough to make you want to go crazy, Ak. It's enough to get. That's why we gonna drink. I don't want to hear nobody out in the world asking us why we drink. Nigga, we drink because you're celebrating New Year. That's why I'm gonna have me a drink right now. Ak. When we done with this class to come, I'm a drink. Ak. You understand?
Right.
Because I'm going crazy. Ak. I'm like, my God, how the hell do you not see what's right in front of your face? You're gonna go crazy because our people just love sin. I don't understand it. How many more Black people have to die? I don't get it. Do you want Donald Trump to be this cruel? La raza. Pregunta. Do you love Donald Trump? Do you love what he's doing to your people, to our people? Why are you still Catholic? Why? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo andas? Why? Why are you still Catholic, seeing that Catholicism and the Mother Mary is not saving abuelita and abuelo from the hands of ICE? So why do you still go to that stupid Catholic church that has raped and molested all of your children? Why? Black people, Native Indians, why do you believe in that silly garbage that you believe in called Christianity and spiritualism for you Native Indians? It has gotten you, it's gotten you the reservation. Like, how long are we going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over again? What is it going to take for you to wake up? What is it going to take for you to wake the hell up? Like, come on, man. How long do we have to do this? Because as a prophet of the Lord could come, we're sick and tired. We're tired of the waiting game. The moment that you niggas wake up, Christ is coming back. Do you know that? Do you know that you'll be in charge? For the life of me could come, I have never met a grace of people who reject rulership so goddamn much. That's why the Lord had to say, is Israel a servant? And God had to say, goddamn, why do you love servitude so much? Nigga, do you know that God wants you to rule the planet Earth? God wants you to be Donald Trump. He don't want the white man to be in his office. He wants niggas to rule. He wants niggas to be Alexander the Great. He wants niggas to be Napoleon Bonaparte. He wants spics and squaws and redskins to rule the planet. You want another race of people over you. How do I know? Because you do what they do. You follow them. You don't follow your God. God wants you to be in charge, not the white man, not Donald Trump. Do you not want rulership? That's another good question. Are you writing these down, Kakam? So like, that's another question. Do you want rulership of the planet? Because I guarantee if I ask the Arabs, the white man, the Asians, the Africans, every other race would say, F yes, I want rulership of this planet. I can guarantee you, like, if you ask blacks and Hispanics this question, they're going to say, no, that's too much to ask. I couldn't rule this planet. It's too much responsibility. Meanwhile, other races are going to say yes, and they won't even think about it, Kakam. I can almost guarantee if we do this interview, they won't even think about their response. Niggas, do you not want to rule? You don't want to be in charge? You don't want to decide who lives and dies? You don't want that? What do you want? They're already shooting right now outside this house. It's not even 8:30.
Right.
You just answer my question. That was the Lord, Kakam. Do you understand? These niggas shooting, that's the Lord. These niggas answer my question. They must hear this class tonight. They just answered. They said, bop, 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 bop. Hell no, we don't want power. We don't want authority. We want to shoot guns on New Year every year, but live in poverty, but live in squalor. But our daughters get raped and molested. But our sons go to prison. That's what we want. We want pleasure. That's what we want. We don't want to rule. No sweat, niggas. You answer my question. Thank you, Negroes. Thank you, 12 tribes of Israel. You just answered my question. El Raza, do you want rulership or do you want ICE to come into your neighborhoods and continue to split your family apart? Is that what you want? I think I hate to say this, but I think Issachar is going to answer my question too. Because I think right now they're getting drunk and also firing shots in the air and fireworks to celebrate Nuevos Años. I can almost guarantee it. Feliz Nuevos Años. I already know it. They answer my question now. Let's keep going now before I get depressed. And I got to call the General Mahayman right after this. Before I get depressed, let's keep going. Because it is depressing being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Because no one outside the truth wants rulership. All you want is to celebrate New Year's every year. All you want is to give gifts every December 25th. Nigga, if you ruled, you can get gifts every effing day. You're comfortable with oppression and slavery, and it is sickening. It's sickening. And the UPK has been saying this ad nauseum since '69. So let's move on before I get depressed. I'm gonna go out and buy me a bottle if we don't hurry up with this class. I'm gonna go drive up there to Des Moines, and I'm gonna be drinking with you and my sister up there. Y'all gonna have to call the general and say, Salaki, sir, but Officer Malak up here drunk. Malak up here drunk. He's drunk because he's sad to see the misery of his people. And he's sad to see that his people don't want to change. If I see it, what do you think God sees? Go ahead and read what you got out.
Yeah, this is the book of Job, chapter 12 and verse 6. It says, the tabernacles of robbers prosper. But yeah, to answer that, I don't think we ever answered.
No one answered it. Everybody's in the comments talking. Nobody's answering the question.
That's pretty much Donald Trump. You know,
give
Donald
him
Trump, Jeff Bezos, Christopher Columbus. You know, as far as how far you want to go back, the so-called white man in general.
Damn right,
but it's not just strict to them. But you know what, the Somalians they just robbed America for what, $1 billion?
Yeah,
money that was supposed to go to the so-called Black communities.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then
go ahead, Salaki, go ahead.
And then they took that money, and now they done made a whole new country called Somaliland.
Yes, they have.
They took $1 billion something from the Black community here in Minneapolis and God knows where else. And then they funded themselves and got approved by the Israeli government to call themselves Somaliland. Good night. Let you do that, Black man, and get you a land called Nigger Land.
Right, yeah, right.
Guess what? They're gonna blow it up in the same day. Matter of fact, they ain't even gonna allow it to happen. Because why? Let's read again. Because the tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure.
Yeah, right.
Into whose hand God bringeth abundantly.
Yeah, brother. If I make a come, yeah, you're right. America is the house of robbers. I want to say, before we keep going and breaking the scripture down, I want to say something to this brother here. He said, Shalom, Shalom, Mike. I'm assuming you're a brother, right? This cat here said, nah, G, God is the only one who should decide who lives and dies. So I have a question for you, King ADG. If God is the only one who should decide who lives and dies, why is it up to a white man named Donald Trump? Why is it his decision about who lives and dies amongst the Mexicans? If God is the only one who should decide who lives and dies, why is the white man deciding who stays or who leaves? Who goes or who stays? Who gets abused by ICE and who doesn't get abused by ICE? Who goes to prison to pick cotton in Angola and who gets to stay home? How is it that God is the only one who lives or decides who lives or dies? But I live in America and I live in the reality. And I see that white people decide in my community who gets resources and who gets Somaliland. I see that it's Donald Trump and the white man who decides if he gets to invade Venezuela or if he gets to spare this country that kisses his ass. Why is it that only Black Christians don't want power and don't want rulership? Are you kidding me, King ADG? You're going to tell me that God is the only one who lives and dies when for the last 400 years, white people have decided whether you lived or you died, whether Emmett Till lived or died, whether Reese Taylor was raped or whether she got to go home safe. Why is it in the minds of Black Christians that you're so comfortable with oppression? You're comfortable with slavery. I just told you that devil that unalived the president Abraham Lincoln, he read the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, and 4 days later he rode on his horse to DC and assassinated the president. Why is it that you are so comfortable with oppression? Everybody else wants to control whether someone lives or dies, except for you stinking Black Christians who love Donald Trump and who love oppression. You know why you want God to decide who lives and dies and not niggas? Because you really want white people to stay in power. You want your God to stay in authority, to stay in rulership. That's what you want. You don't want Black people to decide who lives or dies because you want Donald Trump, your God, to decide who lives or dies. Well, I, for one, am sick of it. I, for one, am sick of white people deciding out of my community who gets resources and who gets taken up from amongst us to go get a better education, a better life, more money to be put on the TV screen for the rest of us to follow. I, for one, am sick of it. I don't know about you. Clearly, you don't. You ain't sick of it. You want Donald Trump to decide the lives of La Raza? Do you want Donald Trump to decide the lives of the Venezuelans, the lives of the Negroes, the lives of the South Americans, the lives of the Haitians? You want them to continue to decide our life? We have to pray to God like some old stinking slaves that no other race of people do? They go and take what they want, and we have to just sit here and just take it. We got to sit here and just, we're just going to pray. We're going to pray about it. Not in the I.S.U.P.K. We're not just going to pray about it and sit back and let it happen. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to take action now. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put an end to sin in our community. That's how you get power, brother, King ADG. That's how you get power. In Israel, the whole government is also white European immigrants and do the same to Palestinians like Trump. And I hate both Trump and Israel. You feel me? No, I don't feel you. I don't feel you. Because you said that in Israel, the whole government is also white European immigrants. So let me ask you, just like you said, they do the same to the Palestinians like Trump. Is God deciding the Palestinians' death or life? Or is Benjamin Netanyahu, King ADG? F Trump, F Netanyahu, and every other political mofo out there. But also our politicians are corrupt. look at Africa. We aren't Africans, but let's take a look at Africa. Let's take a look at the geopolitical state of Africa. Every country in Africa currently is in a current civil war. Did God decide that, King ADG? Did God decide for the Hutsis to fight the Tutsis? Or was it something in the Africans? Some mud hut, cow piss drenched, cow dung bathing African. Even he has enough sense to not accept oppression. Even he has enough sense. Even he has enough soul. He has enough gumption to not want to be oppressed. Why do you think the Africans in the Sahel region are ISIS members, but the ones in the North African region are Christians? Why do you think that? You think that's just, that's just by mistake? Is that what you're going to tell me, King ADG? Why is it that the Africans in the Sahel region, like Nigeria and those countries in the Sahel region of Africa, why do they partner with ISIS and believe what ISIS believes? Why is it that they are killing other Christian Africans right now in the Sahel region of Africa since the 80s, since the 90s? Muslim Africans have been at war with Christian Africans. Why is that, King ADG? Why? Why is that? God decided that? Or did some cow piss showering African decide that he's sick of being oppressed by white colonialism? Tell me. Answer. King ADG, I'll wait for your answer. Because, of course, God decides who lives or who dies. Not Donald Trump. Not Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh, this ain't King ADG. What did he say Donald Trump is? Where is King ADG at? That's what I want to know. That's a question to any of you black Christians out there. How is it that we are the only people who have to just say, well, God is going to decide who lives or who dies. God is going to decide, but every other race of people gets to decide your life or your death. You understand? Just like they did Emmett Till. You see, God gave you wisdom. He gave you sentientness, not free will. I see what you said. Like I said, God gave us free will. So yeah, he decided to give us free will because life is a test. That's what's up. And no, G, I am no Christian. You said you are a Christian because that's exactly what Christians have been telling us since 1969. And life is a test. God is testing you. He's giving you free will. Well, if God is testing you, why would he give you free will to know that you're going to fail the test? You see how this could just go in circles could come? This just goes into a roundabout circle. Here's what God did. God gave you balls. He gave you hands to fight. He gave you feet of war, hands of war. That's what he did. He gave you a mind to think. That's what he did. He gave you sentientness. He gave you his laws to follow. That's what God did. He gave you his laws to follow so that you can rule the planet Earth, so that with your just system of his laws, you could one day decide who lives or who dies. Give me the scripture. Give me the precept to prove he's a Muslim. That's come on, which means you're Christian. You're a Muslim, which means you're Christian. Muslims murdered black people. So let me ask you this, Zach. If God gave us free will and God is the one who decides who lives or who dies, how is it that the Arab Muslims decided what black people they wanted to keep as slaves to watch over their harems of women and which ones to sell to the Europeans? Did God decide that? Or did some Arab Muslim decide that who follows Muhammad, some camel jockey who rapes little girls, who's a rapist? Your God is a stone, is a stone. He's a goddamn stone. You follow a rock. You follow a rock, and Muhammad is not a prophet, and he's a child molester and a rapist. That's your God. Read the scripture you got. Give me, shall Israel, Jeremiah just went over this side. Shall Israel not judge the world? Give me that scripture ASAP, quickly, brother. Baba Kushai. Muslims murder black people. Bro, first guy, Bilal, who did Adam was a black guy. I don't know what in the hell you're talking about. I know this. Arabs sold Negroes into slavery. Arabs sold my people into slavery, King ADG. And because Arabs sold my people into slavery, I will never be a stupid Muslim. Fuck Allah. Allah is a faggot and a goddamn rock and a stupid stone, and he's nothing. I serve the one true living God, the only God, the God of Israel. Shema Yasha Allah, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh God. Fuck Allah, fuck Islam, fuck Muhammad, and fuck those Arabs who sold us into slavery. God didn't decide for us to go on those Arab slave ships. They did. And you know what I'm going to decide when I gain power under our King Christ, Lord allow? I'm going to decide what Arabs I want to keep and what Arabs I want to sell. That's the power that God is going to give me when Christ returns. If I stop celebrating Christmas and New Year's and stop being Muslim and Christian, I'm going to receive power one day the way the Arabs had power. And I'm going to decide what Muslim Arabs I get to keep, sell, destroy, or kill. I'm going to decide that. That's what I'm going to decide. I'm going to decide what Muslim I want to keep poor and what Muslim country that I want to keep rich. I'm going to decide what Arabs are going to bring me gifts for the Feast of Hanukkah, for the Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I'm going to decide what Arab countries I want to kill, what Arab countries I want to put to death, because I feel like it one day. I'll just wake up one day and say, you know what? All of the Arabs who had a part in our slavery, I want them to be over here. I'm going to make good slaves out of them. These Arabs over here, I just want to put them to death. I want to make a game, a fun game. I want to feed them to alligators. That's what I'm going to. This group of Muslims, I'm going to make fight the other group of Arab Muslims. And guess who's going to decide it? Not God. I'm going to decide it, because I'm going to be the Arab's God, the way you making some Arab your God. I'm going to be the Arab's God when Christ returns, the way you're making the Arab your God. That's what I'm going to do. And God won't decide it. He's going to give me the power to decide it. Read what you got, Kakam. Your volume is off, Kakam. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you, Kakam.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Shalom. Yeah, so this is book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. Well, verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Who are the saints? The saints, King ADG, are not no stinking, filthy, camel-driving Arabs. That's not
Right.
the saints. The saints aren't the white man. The saints aren't the Muslims. The saints aren't the Asians. The saints are Israelites. That's what a saint is in the Bible. Don't you know that the Israelites shall judge the world? Keep reading.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Brother, we're going to judge. Do you understand, King ADG? We're going to judge. We're going to judge the Arabs. That's what we're going to judge. We're going to judge the Arabs. We're going to judge them, and we're going to make sure that they pay for all of the crimes that they committed and benefited from off of my people's back. Fuck
that's right.
Allah and the Muslims and Islam. Fuck it all. Fuck those all the other guys too could come. All of them. F them. F the Christians' God and the Christians, the white man's gods, Janus, New Year's, Shema Yasha Allah, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh God. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Fuck them goddamn Arabs who didn't do anything after Emmett Till got killed, after Oscar Abrego was killed. The Arabs who aren't doing anything now, that the Mexicans are being oppressed by ICE in America. Where are those same Arab Muslim brothers of yours? Your brothers are being persecuted by ICE and by Border Patrol, and the Arabs are living good off of oil, off of money that they received and inherited from land that does not belong to them. And you got the nerve
Right.
to tell me God is the one who, no, the Arabs are the one who's controlling your life over in the Middle East now, the way that the white man is controlling your life here and whether or not you live or die in America. Yeah, God is going to give us the power, brother, to judge the world, to absolutely judge and condemn who we feel like judging. Those Arabs are first on are third on the list. First is Esau. Second is those stinking Hamite Africans. Third are those Ishmaelite Arabs who turned a blind eye to our oppression. The Africans who turned a blind eye to our oppression. That's what we're going to do when Christ returns. I'm going to turn a blind eye to them getting ripped apart by dogs and hyenas and alligators. Don't you know Israel's going to judge the world? The saints, the Israelites are going to judge the world. King ADG, the Israelites are going to judge the world. Not the Arabs, not the white man, not the Asians, and damn sure not those piss-bathing Africans. We're going to judge the world when Christ returns. And it's going to be up to us who lives or who dies. If you don't want that power, then you die when the Arabs die when Christ returns. You die with Muhammad when Christ returns. But me and my house, me and my family, we're going to serve the Lord. That's what we're going to do. You keep Assalamu alaikum, Maki, beneficent merciful Allah, and Christ is going to put you to death when he returns with 200 million angels. You're going to be put to death. You go ahead. You celebrate Ramadan and New Year's. You do whatever the hell you want to do. This I do know about you, that you are comfortable with being a slave, just like Black Christians. You're no different. And because you're comfortable with being a slave, you're going to suffer the punishment and penalty of what a slave would when his slave master dies. But us in the UPK, we're free men. We aren't slaves. We're free. We don't serve a God that's a rock and a faggot like Muhammad. We serve a man named Christ. That's our king. That's our king. A man that Muhammad's shoe, he couldn't tie Yahweh's sandals. He couldn't wipe the dust off our king's sandals, that PDF file, Muhammad. Nah, that's not who our God and our Savior is. Muhammad didn't die on a cross for me to not get high. Muhammad didn't die and give his life so that I don't have to have sex with whores or so that I don't have to celebrate New Year's. But a Black man from the tribe of Judah named Christ did. And guess what? I'm going to serve him. And I'm going to live the way he wants me to live so that when he returns, I can judge the Arabs. I can judge the Romans and the oppressors and the Africans and the nations. That's my goal in life. You had something you wanted to say, Kakam?
No, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Speaking of Arabs, or the Palestine, everybody want to say free Palestine, free Palestine, but where was the Palestinians saying free the niggas?
Damn
you know
right.
what I mean? Where was the Africans saying free the niggas? Y'all ain't. They always claim that we African or whatever, but y'all ain't send one ship over here to save nobody. You didn't go to war with the so-called white man, but because you was the one too busy in cahoots selling us with the Arabs during the sub-Saharan slave trade. You know what I mean? So that's why all of y'all are going in chains. All of y'all are going straight into the field just like we was. And that's the gospel. In the book, what is it? Isaiah 66, if I'm not mistaken. That's the gospel. The strangers shall plow our fields.
That's right.
The strangers shall be our vine dressers.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the good news. That's the good news that you want to talk about, the good tidings. You know what I'm saying? You guys will be in our fields feeding our flocks.
Yeah,
I pray you understand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Give him a hand. You can go back to Joel 12:6. Let's finish up. Go back to Joel 12:6. Yeah, God gives us the power and the knowledge and the wisdom to judge this planet. He gave us the law. He gave us his law, and we're going to use that law to judge those stinking Arabs, to judge Allah and to judge Muhammad and all of those followers, those murderers, the Arabs, a bunch of wild men who bombed the World Trade Center, who are raping boys. Does he know that? Does he know we just went over how to stop child molestation? Your Arab God was number one on that lesson. Wasn't he series 1, episode 1 could come? The Arabs have a culture of child molestation. Did you know that? What was his name again? KD. What was his name, brother? King ADG. King ADG. Did you know that your Arab gods love boys behind? Little boys. They call them bachi bazi. Allah loves some boy tail. That's what Allah loves. He's a sodomite, just like Muhammad. Just like Muhammad. Arab men, just like white men, have sex with women, not for pleasure, but for reproduction. They have sex with little boys for pleasure. And this is something I'm making up. This is their culture. This is their culture. This nigga probably never even been over to the Middle East. Talking about Assalamu alaikum, he's an Arab. Never been to the Middle East and don't speak Arabic, don't speak Pashto, and does not speak Farsi. Here you are, some wannabe. You traded gods. You left the white man's God of Christianity and you traded it for an Arab child molesting God of Allah. Surprise, surprise. You're a Christian. That's what you are. You're a Christian. Facts. Afghans, great boys, just like Christian pastors. Well, so you mean to tell, hold on, Kakum, he knows this and he follows their God? Who does he think gave them the culture to rape boys?
Right.
Allah. Maybe you're a child molester, KD. Oh, this ain't the same brother. Salaki, you a different brother. Y'all got the same initials. Here's KD. Salaki, KD, do 9JT. I'm thinking that you're King ADG. Nah, yes, correct. Afghan great boys, just like Christian pastors. Give KD do 9JT a hand. You are correct. Now let's see what this cat said. Don't do drugs, my G. It turns into brain damage. You see that I ain't the only one who knows it, right? This cat on here, right. KD do 9JT says, facts, Afghans, great boys. Do we have to pull up the videos that 60 Minutes did 50 years ago about how the Arabs, the men over there have a problem with raping boys? I've been over there. Do you understand, King ADG? I've been over there. You even got other veterans who coming out who are saying it. Other veterans now coming out and saying, yeah, man, when we was over there doing reconnaissance missions, I would look through the scope and see an Afghan grown man raping a little boy. It's common. It's like it's their culture. It's not even something they hide. It's at least Christian pastors are trying to hide their nastiness. Them Arabs aren't hiding their nastiness. They have sex with little boys. And majority of the boys they have sex with and rape are their own family members. It's their nephews and their sons. I'm not making this up, King ADG. This is what's in your Quran that's permitted. Just like it's permitted to marry a 9-year-old girl. That's what's permitted in your religion's culture. The Bible is against rape. It's also against serving another God too, King ADG. What did he say? Hold on. Yeah, I see that now.
Imam.
What did he say? So like I said again, can come?
No, I'm just reading. So this cat talk about my Hebrew Imam.
Yeah, listen, this is what King ADG said. He said the old government from my nigga. What are you talking about? The old government? I was just there in 2016. Operation Inherent Resolve. What do you mean old government? That ain't no effing old government. That's happening tonight. So one of those little Arab Muslim boys are getting done by their uncle right now. Right now, in the dead of winter. Right now, they got some 6-year-old, 8-year-old boys that's prancing in to a bachi bazi. And they're having them dance like a girl, and then they all have an orgy with these 6 and 7 and 9-year-old boys. And it's something that everybody knows, except for you, King ADG, or maybe you do know. Maybe that's why you chose to be a Muslim, so you could do the same thing to little boys. Maybe, I don't know. I know that I couldn't serve a God that permits child molestation, that encourages it. You see, my God, the God of Israel, Yahweh, he said that a rapist shall be put to death. So guess what he's given us the power to do when Christ returns? If you are some Arab that participates or wants to participate in that lifestyle, we're going to give those Arabs a proper education to come. And God is going to be willing, and God is going to be wanting it to happen. Do you understand, King ADG? He's going to want it to happen. He permits it to happen. He doesn't permit child molestation, but he does permit the destruction as we're going to do to child molesters. I hope you understand that.
Right. Yeah, just to, if you could, Salaki, show the screen real
he's still there
quick.
talking now. Just at this point, just ignore him. He's a Muslim who became a Muslim knowing that Muslims rape boys. That's all. That's enough that needs to be said about you. Go ahead, Kakam.
Now I was gonna say if you could just show the screen, because we just went over this like you said, but it says recent news reports from late 2024 and 2025 indicate that Iraq's parliament has passed or is close to passing an amendment to its personal status law that would allow girls as young as 9 to be legally married in some circumstances. And that goes back to their Allah, their Arab religion, in which Muhammad, he married, what was her name? Aisha at 9 years old.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but yeah, just
listen.
We ain't gotta drag that out.
Kakam, he knows this. He knows this. King ADG knows that Arab Muslims love to indulge in PDF fileism. He knows that. That's why he chose that religion. That's why he wants to be Muslim, so he can do the same thing to kids. If I were you, I would stay the hell away from King ADG, and I would stay the hell away from Arabs and Muslims and Christians. What I would do is I would come into the I.S.U.P.K. so that you're not dying tonight, so that you don't die from your affinity and love to another race of people the way King ADG will. All right, let's finish it off. Let's go back to Job 12:6. So let's break this down, and then let's get the hell up out of here so I can drink something, so I can get the smell of pedophiles. And that's who's celebrating New Year's. What the hell is different? King ADG, what's so different from you being Muslim and Christians? Christians are celebrating New Year's tonight. They're pedophiles. You are a Muslim, and Muslims are pedophiles. What is different about the two? That's something I would like to ask a black person who's a Muslim. If you're black, I don't even know if you're black. But King ADG, if you're black, tell me you're black. Tell me what tribe you're from. Are you Haitian? Are you Jamaican? Are you a Judite? Are you a Negro in America? What are you? Because this is what I know. Black people, black men who go follow Arab Muslims, they did it in thinking that they were going to be like Malcolm X. And all they did was trade slave masters. That's all your dumb ass did. You just simply went from having a white God to having the Arab sand God that molests children. The white God of Christianity molests kids. The Arab God of Muslims, they also molest kids. The Christians believe that if you reject their doctrine, you're going to go to a place under the ground called hell. Guess what the Muslims believe? The Muslims, ironically, could come believe the same thing. They believe if you reject their doctrine, you're going to go into some place under the ground called hell. They believe that if you don't reject their doctrine and become one of them, that you can go to heaven. The Muslims believe the same thing. The Christians believe that anybody can become Christian. The Muslims believe anybody can be Muslim. Nigga, you're the same. You're the same. There's no difference between Muslims and Christians. You all worship stupid false gods, and you all are child molesting PDF files who are all celebrating New Year's right now. All of you are disgusting. You're all sinners, and you should get properly educated in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead and read what you got, Kakam.
Yeah, Wakan, this is the book of Job, chapter 12 and verse 6. It says the tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they provoke God, Salaki, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly.
Provoking the Lord is legalizing abortions, legalizing weed. America is the house of robbers. The house of robbers. Let's go to it. Do you have it pulled up? You don't have the scripture pulled up? No sweat. Don't worry about it.
Which one?
The scripture you reading, Job.
What are you? Oh, yeah, Salaki. I thought I was reading it. Here we go.
You are reading it. I got you now. All right, go ahead. Yeah. It's the tabernacles of robbers prosper. America prospers because they provoke the Most High. And what happens into whose hand God bringeth abundantly? This is what happens when you serve your oppressor. You think that you're going to benefit and that you're going to prosper the way that your oppressor prospered. But here's what you do not understand. that you and your oppressor aren't the same. Do you understand? You aren't equal to white people. Get that out of your mind. You're going to celebrate New Year's, and so is Donald Trump. But here's the difference. You aren't a white man. You understand? He's going to benefit and prosper off of his wickedness and being evil, legalizing abortion, legalizing weed, legalizing slavery, legalizing things that provoke the Lord. He's going to prosper from it. You're going to be destroyed from it. What's the lesson in all of this? Stop trying to be like your oppressor. What we missed, but we were going to go over tonight to come is briefly, if you want to, go ahead. You can pull up the article I gave you about being a slave on New Year's years ago. This is so important because it goes with the scripture I just read, right? It's so important. Here you are thinking that you're going to benefit the same as your oppressor because you do the same thing as your oppressor. This is what life was like for you 150 years ago. Let's read this briefly. Let's read a little bit of this.
This from Time.
Hell no. KD do 9JT. Hey, can white guys join your cult? Hell no. White people cannot join the I.S.U.P.K. ever. They can give us their money. That's what they could do. They don't have to join. They could just send in their tithes. They can, you know what white people can do? All you white people, listen up. All you white people who my people have an affinity to and love so goddamn much. This is what I want white people to do. White people, you do have free will. You do, white people. You can go and be like John Brown used his free will, and he did some amazing things with his free will. If you really love black people, white people, you should go and do everything John Brown did. Is that clear? Right? Give us all your money and then go and do everything John Brown did. Everything to the T. I want white people to study John Brown the way you study Jesus Christ. You know those dummies that battled Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazai, those two white dummies who were scholars of the Bible. All you white men are such scholars of Jesus Christ. I want white men to start being scholars of John Brown the way that you're scholars of Jesus Christ. And I want you to follow John Brown. That's what I want from white people. I'm sick of white people trying to make up this false deity of Jesus Christ. He's some all-loving, hugging everybody, kissing everybody God. I want you to study John Brown, and I want you to be like John Brown. White people, don't be like Jesus. Be like John Brown. That's what I want from white people. He was more, you see, you don't have to go back 2,000 years to study about John Brown. You could just you can come right here to Kansas. I'll take all white people right here to Lawrence, where he burned the city down. I'll take you to the statues, the memorials, the monuments, and the museums we have all around this area so you can live and study John Brown. And I want you to raise your children like he raised his children. And then I want you to do everything he did. Don't be like Jesus, white people. Be like John Brown. Can we get that on the shirt? Don't be like Jesus, Mr. White Man. Be like John Brown. You dummies that try to battle Captain Tazariak. Stop studying Jesus Christ, white man, because you're terrible at it. Stop learning about Jesus, Mr. White Man, because when you learn about Jesus, you become Adolf Hitler, who was a Christian. You become Mussolini, who was a Christian. You become Joseph Stalin, who was a Christian. Somehow, Kukum Gabar, Jesus was this all-loving Jesus that loved everybody. But the white men that follow him were slave masters. How does that work? I thought that Jesus was all-loving. If Jesus was so all-loving, how come the white people who follow Jesus, how come the white people who follow Jesus go into a South Carolina church and shoot up all of the black people in the church? Maybe he wasn't so all-loving and all caring and all hugging and kisses. Maybe he wasn't. Because when I see white men follow Jesus, I see you become America and enslave races of people. When you follow Jesus, you become the Spanish conquistadors. When you follow Jesus, you become the Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan. I don't want white people to follow Jesus. I want white people to follow John Brown. That's what I want. Stop telling black people about Jesus and educating us about Jesus. Nigga, Go follow John Brown, Mr. White Man, because when you follow Jesus, my father is lynched from a tree and Emmett Till is burned at a stake. My sisters are shot dead in the kitchen because she said, I plead the blood of Jesus over you, with nothing in her hand, and you shoot her in her own kitchen that she called you to protect because she thought she was being robbed. I don't want white men to follow and learn about Jesus anymore, because when you learn about Jesus, Mr. White Man, you deport the Mexicans and murder Negroes, and you lynch Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians. When white people learn about Jesus, they give smallpox blankets to the North American Indian and says, God loves you. When white men learn about Jesus, they say, kill the Indian, save the man. Kill the North American Indian, save the man. Shoot the engines, but save the kid. Cutting the hair off of Native Indian kids and raping Native Indian girls. I'm sick of white people learning about Jesus. When is white people going to learn about John Brown? When are you going to devote your life to John Brown? When are you going to make John Brown your new Jesus? When are you going to make John Brown your new God? Because you have learned about Jesus, who you told us was all loving, when you whipped our backs and you lynched our fathers and you raped our grandmothers. Don't teach us about Jesus anymore, white man. Teach me about John Brown. Show me what John Brown did. Be like John Brown. That's what I want you to do, Mr. White Man. Read what you got to come so we can get out of here.
Colonel McCon, yeah, this is Time Magazine. It says, Americans are likely to think of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as a time to celebrate the fresh start that a new year represents. But there is also a troubling side to the holiday's history. In the years before the Civil War, the first day of the new year was often a heartbreaking one for enslaved people in the United States. In the African American community, New Year's Day used to be widely known as Hiring Day or Heartbreak Day. Hiring Day.
I thought Jesus was all loving, Mr. White Man. I thought all of these slave masters, all of the white men that fought for the Confederacy was all Jesus-loving Christians. Robert E. Lee, Rosecrans, give me more. I used to remember Fort Polk, Leonidas Polk, Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, all of them were slave owners. Jefferson Davis, slave owner and a Christian preacher. Robert E. Lee, a slave owner who was the general of the Confederacy to keep black men slaves, who loved Jesus Christ. I don't want you to teach me about Jesus Christ anymore, Mr. White Man. I think we've had enough of you teaching us about Jesus. When you learn about Jesus, somehow a noose ends up around my neck. Somehow when you learn about Jesus, the Mexicans are burned for rejecting your Catholicism. That's what happens when you learn about Jesus, white man. I thought he was all loving. If Jesus is so all loving, why did you murder us in slavery? Why did you enslave us? Why did you kill us for rejecting Jesus? If he was so all loving. You see, I don't want white people to teach me about Jesus anymore, Kakam. I'm sick of it. I think white people, you've taught us about Jesus ad nauseum. I think it's time for you to teach me about John Brown. I think it's time for you to dedicate your life to him the way you have dedicated your life to Jesus. That's what I want you to do. You see, hiring day was tonight. Tonight, New Year's was hiring day for black slaves. As you're celebrating Christmas and as you're celebrating New Year's tonight, just remember, you are still a slave. You're still a slave. Your forefathers 200 years ago, 150 years ago, tonight was the worst night of their lives. But for you, tonight is the best night of your life. It's the best night of your life tonight. How did that happen, Kakam Gabar? I know how it happened. White men taught us about Jesus. That's what happened. White men taught us about Jesus. So now, instead of you hating and loathing New Year's like your forefathers did, like your antecedents did, like your grandmothers and grandfathers did, you know what you do now? You can't wait for there to be a New Year's. You look forward to New Year's so you can have sex with sluts and whores, and so you can shoot guns in the air because white men taught you about Jesus. White men, stop teaching us about Jesus. Start teaching us about John Brown. With that being said, I pass the class over to Precinct Officer 500 Cucumber.
That's right. This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements, where the I.S.U.P.K started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, a rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only, and they are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. And after that 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court one another. And after that 6 month period, a brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi, chapter 3, 8 through 10. That means a tenth in the Hebrew, ma'asharah, and that's 10% of every penny of increase that the Lord gives you. You can give that to the Treasury Department or to the teacher. A priest fund, which is a free will offering for a priest that is not mandatory. It's whatever amount you would like. In the upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of Purim. You can find that in the book of Esther. And that's what is it? Monday, the 2nd of March, and Tuesday on the 3rd in 2026. So Monday, the 2nd of March at sundown, and it's a 2-day feast. And after that, of course, we got the Lord's 57th annual Passover.
That's right.
So, yeah, give the Lord a hand for that one. Yep, and you could definitely catch the commercials and everything. We'll be dropping for all the locations and the events and all the itinerary we'll have for that. And with that, we're gonna give a courtesy salute to the teachers, men of Israel, Imagine, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak. Yahweh Shimmy Awashah Barakatah.
Yahweh Shimmy Awashah Barakatah.
Guys, Matah, hands down. Star. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Sisters, Imagine, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Yahweh Shamar Al-Than by Shimmy Awashah.
Yahweh Shamar Al-Than by Shimmy Awashah.
Y'all, Matah class dismissed.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Kakam. Shalom, sis. Sister, shalom. Shalom. Y'all be safe out there. Shalom. Don't celebrate New Year. Shalom.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yahanna presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026 in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahanna. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.